Welcome everyone to HueFin News. Today's April 28th, 2019, your source of news before any trade decision. We're here to show you all the news according to the charts, not by news articles, not by videos, anything of that particular nature, because the true movement, the true participants who move the market have already placed their ideas on the price chart. So if you're able to interpret those things correctly, then you can profit along with those individuals who spend hundreds and thousands and millions of dollars in research that is not available to the regular retail investor. They do the research for us. We look at the price chart to see the likelihood of the direction of the market, and we go ahead and profit along with them. So we definitely want to thank you all for coming to our channel today. Go ahead and continue to subscribe, like, and share these videos, because this is what we're all about. We're here to show you all those participants in the market who have placed their research, their ideas on the price chart to give you all the direction in which these indexes will go in the future. Okay, so if you guys been watching our video for the stock market depression outlook, we've been telling you all a long time ago that these indexes were going to make all-time highs, and that's what occurred this past week for the Nasdaq as well as the SP500. Those two indexes were able to go ahead and make all-time highs. We saw that coming. It was already posted on the price chart before it actually occurred. So this is one of the benefits of you continuing to come and watch these videos. And if you do find what we do quite interesting, go ahead and go to our website, HueFinancial.com. There we're able to give you more of the news that is pertaining to the charts. So now let's go ahead and get started into our outlook for the stock market depression outlook. And as you all can tell, we're looking at the monthly chart for the Nasdaq. Okay, the monthly chart on the Nasdaq continues to reflect to us that the strength is still being maintained, that there's not a lot of fear, not a lot of depression, and not a lot of hurt coming into the market yet. Okay, we were able to break all-time highs around the 7670 point level. This current month that we are in, we're definitely seeing a pretty good movement to the upside. Push to go up bar is being reflected on the monthly time frame. The volume is quite healthy as well too. So the fear gauge, if I should speak it, is not dramatically apparent. The market is still indicating that it is not done with higher prices. But one of the things that I would definitely caution you all is that the market participants as well understand that it has made all-time highs in the Nasdaq. So you're going to see a lot of individuals who are hesitant into continuing to push this market to all-time highs. Okay, let's go ahead and look at it on the weekly time frame. You can see here on the weekly chart that the Nasdaq continues to reflect to us that it wants to move higher. Now there is a very slight hint that some sellers came into the market this past week in the Nasdaq. Okay, you can see right here at the bottom of this chart that the volume has been on the increase over the last 2 weeks. We haven't seen this much volume come into this space in the Nasdaq. And then another thing is that the market closed off of the highs for that current week. Okay, so again, this is ideas that there are some sellers coming to the market in the Nasdaq. Take a look at it on the daily time frame. You can tell what day the market went ahead and got induced with some sell orders. Some of the market participants were getting out of their positions while the Nasdaq continued to make all-time highs. But the following day, the market continues to reflect that there's still some strength in this particular index. Now, 7,700 points has to be maintained as support. So what I'm going to go ahead and do in order for this particular index to continue to move higher, it has to stay above that 7,700 point level. Okay, considering that the Nasdaq went ahead and already broken this to the upside, we could go ahead and get rid of that. And now this is the gauge that we need to pay attention to going forward in the market for the Nasdaq, 7,700 points. Okay, currently the daily time frame is still insinuating that the market is going to continue to move higher. But again, if I had to, I will move this down here as the gauge to for a long-term indication that the Nasdaq will continue to move higher. it cannot fall below the 7,500 point. Okay, so before anyone else tells you that, we have already told you that the market needs to trade above 7,500, maybe even 7,400 points in order to see that continuation and movement higher. Okay, but when you look at it on the weekly time frame, there's still some minor strength still being seen. And then the daily time frame, we might have a couple more days to where the Nasdaq will try to continue to make all-time highs. I know that a lot of the tech companies is what is pushing the Nasdaq to make all-time highs, because they have been blowing out of the water on their Q1 earning reports as to how much revenue they've been making, and as well as some of the subscribership like Netflix, Amazon, all of these companies, Facebook, have all blown their earnings estimates out of the water, which is one of the main reasons why we're seeing the Nasdaq make these all-time highs. So I was just caution you all that we have seen some increases in volume over the last couple of daily time frame, daily price bars. You can see right here the last 2 days in the Nasdaq, the market has seen exceedingly more volume than what we've been accustomed to. So that again indicates that the market is going to go through some selling that will push this index to lower prices. Okay, so let's look for the market is still strong, but I wanted to pinpoint and let you all understand that it can see some weakness. It can move to the downside, and definitely once we see that weakness come in, if it's able to maintain 7,700 points, then the movement to the upside is still in play. But overall, the market cannot break below 7,500 points in order for us to move to the upside throughout 2019. Okay, so now let's go ahead and look at the S&P 500. You all can tell here that the S&P 500 as well is still giving us strength. It made all-time highs this current month from what occurred in October and as well as September. We are still on guard though in the S&P 500 to make sure that the market overall is still going to move higher. Okay, so kind of just like the Nasdaq, the market in the S&P 500 this past week did see an increase in volume, not as much as what it was on the Nasdaq, but overall a little bit more than what we've seen the previous week. Now the strength is still coming into the S&P 500. A lot of the earning reports for those companies within the S&P 500 continues to blow out their earnings estimates as well. So that's why we're still anticipating the strength in the S&P 500 to continue too. Looking at it at the daily time frame level, you can tell that we're not getting as much volume as what we were seeing in the Nasdaq. A lot of this volume that we're seeing here at the bottom of my chart, it's on average, is not dramatic, it's not climactic, it's not bizarre to where it is a glaring indication of something changing. Okay, so the strength in the S&P 500 is still ongoing. It is still anticipated to continue to move to the upside. I would like for the S&P 500 on indications of weakness to try to maintain that support around 2880. Okay, so the market in the S&P 500 is still indicating strength. The market participants are not insinuating that the market is weak, but in the event that weakness appears, we need to make sure that it doesn't fall most likely right here below this area. So we're going to go ahead and use that as our gauge going forward in the market in the S&P 500 to make sure that it doesn't fall below this support line that we got drawn on our chart. That has to be maintained as support if this stock index is going to continue to move higher in price. Okay, so we're still anticipating the S&P 500 to continue to move higher as well. We don't see a lot of weakness in this index neither. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the last one, which is the Dow. Okay, now the Dow, on the other hand, out of the three indexes, this is one of the weakest out of the three. Okay, it's not reflecting a lot of the strength that the Nasdaq, the technology sector, as well as the SP 500. It is not insinuating that it's that strong. Okay, this is the weakest one out of the three. You can tell here on the monthly time frame for the Dow that is not really making all-time highs. That 27,000 point price that it did in October, we're not even there yet. We're about 500 points away from hitting that all-time high of 27,000 points. Now, the current month, you can see here that the spread of the bar is a lot smaller, but the volume is decent. So what's going on in the market in the Dow definitely insinuates that we do have some market participants selling the Dow at that particular price or at that particular point level. If you can tell, this is what a lot of technical analysts term the coin triple top, 1, 2, and now we're here again. So the Dow is still insinuating some lopsidedness concerning what direction it really wants to go. Okay, this previous week, we did see the market actually close below the previous close from the last week. All that insinuates that there are some market participants who are selling at that particular price level. Okay, so here we are looking at on daily time frame. We need some very positive news to come out in the Dow in order to calm the fears of the participants who dwell in the Dow on a daily basis. They're a little uneasy right now concerning the market making all-time highs. Okay, we are holding consolidation though. I can give you that much fact now. With that increased volume from the last trading day of last week and the spread of the bar definitely tells me that the market is hindering the progressional movement higher in the Dow. And you can see right here on this 4-hour chart that 26,500 point level is the area of resistance in this particular index. And then the next one is going to be 26,600. So until we actually see some strength, some positive strength coming to the market, the Dow is still anticipated to hold that consolidational trading and possibly try to come back up to this 26,600 point level. I'm not really that convinced that the strength is being maintained in the Dow for those reasons that was just mentioned. And those reasons, again, as a recap, is that this past week closed lower than the close from last week. The volume is on the increase, and it is definitely one of the weakest out of the three indexes of the financial stock market. So this one will give me a little pause as to how high the market can actually move. If we get something positive like a trade deal next week for the global economy, then yes, we might get a very quick spike up to the upside price just to hit all-time highs, and then we'll see a resumption back down to lower prices. So overall, the Dow, I'm just expecting to hold some consolidation. I would probably be a little bit more on the caution side for the Dow versus the SP 500 and then the Nasdaq. Okay, so that is our analysis for the three indexes. This is what we're still seeing in the stock market. 2 out of the three indexes are still indicating some strength to go through. Caution is warranted because everyone else also understands that. The Dow, on the other hand, is probably one of the weakest ones that needs a little bit more vigilance regarding what can happen on a daily basis. Okay, so that's our analysis. This is what the price chart is displaying to us. This is what it is saying to us, and this is how we are interpreting it. If you all want more information about the things that we cover, go ahead and go to our website, HueFinancial.com. And from there, you guys can participate, join with our elite group of members who value the simplicity of our information. So you can become one of those individuals too. Make sure y'all maintain your profitability, and I will talk to you all later.